ANC MP Vytjie Mentor is expected to continue today at the State Capture Commission in Parktown in Johannesburg. Yesterday, a number of discrepancies in her testimony were highlighted by lawyers for the commission. Last year, Mentor told the commission she met the Gupta brothers in Beijing, China, during a state visit by the Department of Trade and Industry in August 2010. The commission's evidence leader questioned Mentor's evidence as travel records obtained through Home Affairs disputed her claim. They show that Atul Gupta was in the country during that period. Among other issues highlighted was an in-loco investigation by the commission which found only one home which belongs to the Gupta family in Saxonwold. This appears to contradict earlier testimony by Mentor that she remembers 4 to 5 houses in the Gupta compound. Mentor is said to be cross-examined by some implicated persons today. But now for the latest, our SABC senior political reporter Mzwandile Mbethe is in Parktown, and let's go to him for more. Mzwai, let's just recap on yesterday, the sense after the testimony, Vytjie Mentor's testimony.
Oh, well, Desiree, it does seem to have been a very difficult day for her because there were a number of inconsistencies insofar as a verification process was concerned. Remember, she was concluding the evidence that she started sometime last year. When she was presenting that evidence, the commission wanted to investigate more about some of the things that she had said. I mean, you've alluded to the issue of the China trip, where she said she was with Atul Gupta. But of course, the Home Affairs records did indicate that actually at the time, Atul Gupta was in the country. I think same thing with the travels from Cape Town to Johannesburg. The parliamentary records and the SA records couldn't confirm any of the travels around the time in which she claims to have traveled. And the site visit to the Gupta house, also there were experts who went there to really look at some of the features that she had spoken about. I mean, basically the answer, Desiree, from the experts was that and none of those things she had spoken about had been seen at the Gupta house. So it was really one of those days where she perhaps didn't really enjoy being at the witness stand because to the point where you could see there was a bit of irritation on her part, maybe understandable because they didn't seem to go her way at all.
It kind of makes me remember something that President Cyril Ramaphosa once said about the commissions, that they were going to be a difficult and a painful process because it's too early to judge whether she's credible or not. It calls on us media and the public to really, it highlights the need for evidence to be tested because in some way it does that to cast some sort of doubt on evidence by the other people who've come through to give evidence, your Agritzi, your Themba Maseko. Is there a sense that there is more need now for evidence to be tested?
Oh, well, that is actually what's going to happen today, Desiree. Remember, she will be cross-examined today. In fact, the cross-examination will be the first time at the State Capture Commission. So we have been speaking about people applying to cross-examine those that implicated them. But for the first time, we will see the actual cross-examination. The people that will cross-examine her are Lakela Kaunda. Remember, she said when the meeting that offered her the ministerial post was arranged through the office of the president at the time, and she cited Ms. Lakela Kaunda as someone who really facilitated that process. And another person who will cross-examine her is Mandla Mdolo, and she says when she was busy preparing her statement, and then she was told to remove the name of former President Jacob Zuma, and then she accuses Mandla Mdolo. Also, he would then have the opportunity through the lawyers to cross-examine her. Indeed, this will be very interesting because all the time, Desiree, We've been listening to people putting their side of the story, and because the commission is not necessarily cross-examining them. So what the commission is doing, the commission simply helps them illustrate more, demonstrate, and tell us more about what is it that they know. So in the process, some people get implicated, and those people then want to have their say. This is the opportunity that those two individuals I've mentioned will have that opportunity today to cross-examine Ms. Vytjie Mentor.
One of the things that the Deputy Chief Justice, Raymond Zondo, said yesterday was that mentioning that he had previously extended an invitation to former President Jacob Zuma to come and address the commission about some of the things that have been said about him. And he was displaying some sort of frustration that the former president had not responded to this invitation. And today they have an opportunity in the person of Lakela Kaunda, who will be at the commission, who has worked with the president for a long time. Is there a chance at all that Ms. Kaunda herself might be asked about other aspects, or is it going to be strictly within how she was implicated?
It's going to be a very limited scope. Basically, what I've just said is that she will be asked, or rather she will then be putting the question around the facilitation that she's said to have made with Ms. Vytjie Mentor. So it really has nothing to do with what other allegations have been made against the former president. Perhaps to also clarify what you've just said, Desiree, I think earlier when the people came here to give evidence, the name of former President Jacob Zuma kept coming up. And then particularly with regards to Themba Maseko. Remember, Themba Maseko said he got a call from former president basically saying, basically saying, my brother, please help these Gupta brothers. So what Judge Zondo said then was that he would need some sort of an affidavit or a statement from the former president, basically clarifying some of those issues. At this stage, not necessarily saying he wants him to come here in person, but basically saying some sort of statement really to clarify some of the issues that are being raised, because time and again his name does crop up. So that is the context in which Judge Zondo was saying. But I mean, he did make it clear that to this day, so he hasn't received any of that statement. So yes, as we begin at 10, so we will then hear the cross-examination for the first time.
Mzwayi, our question of the day is linked to our conversation, so I'm going to just briefly go there and ask our viewers, what do you make of Vytjie Mentor's testimony at the state capture inquiry so far and the challenges she had yesterday at the agenda_SABC? I think we have about 4 tweets in this regard. Let's look at some of them. Charlie Chokwe says, honestly, I've never taken Vytjie Mentor seriously. She's a bitter woman and her evidence has too much loopholes. She's a waste of time. Nkunzi Yodumo says all over the place. Her evidence is riddled with holes. Some of her claims aren't corroborated with facts by the experts. She has a temper problem too. Overall, disappointing. Tori says all witnesses were great, but as for Mentor, no. She keeps chopping and changing. She should have stayed home, seriously. And our last one, Papa B, says she's got beaten by stage fright. Her testimony can't take away what is already on the table. It is normal to make blunders at such stages. To bear in mind that she may implicate herself is another tragedy and falling state of the country. Okay, didn't quite get that one really, but Mzwayi, some sentiments out there, but generally, the general sentiment is that people are not happy that there's so much inconsistency in her testimony.
Well, if ordinary people express what they have expressed, maybe you must also listen to what the experts will say today. Remember, the experts will also have the opportunity to present their case, those experts that went to the site visit at the Gupta House. So it will be very interesting what they have to say. We already know the conclusion that the features they had been told about were not there. But they will have the opportunity now to say it themselves, to explain how they went about, so what is it that they picked up, and after that, and it's cross-examination. So I think after the end of the day, she may have a very difficult day indeed.
Mzwayi, the kind of effort and work that the Commission has put into investigating the allegations that Vytjie Mentor has made, how does this speak to the rigor and the credibility of the Commission's processes?
Oh, well, remember, the Commission must investigate where it feels it needs more information. So I don't think it would be prudent to speak at this stage about the credibility. What is still happening now is that the process is still underway and it's still in the very early stages. So whatever is being said here somehow needs to be corroborated. So where you see there are loopholes, more investigations are needed. I think at this stage, we are in that process where the Commission feels if it needs more information, it will do that. I mean, we already know that if the experts were to go and check some of the features at the Gupta houses, when were they installed and stuff like that, we heard that could cost close to R1 million. So, but this is part of unearthing this phenomenon. So that has brought us here at Desiree, the state capture. What is it that what is it that has caused the state capture, and what is the state capture, and who was involved, and who facilitated it? So all that they are doing is part really of getting to that answer this critical question that South Africans want to know. Was there a state capture? By whom? What actually is this state capture?
Mzwayi, just finally, with everything said, it didn't look like Vytjie Mentor was crumbling under pressure. She stuck to her guns. Did you also get that sense?
Well, when she had been told about the records of the SAA and the parliamentary records not confirming her travels, she basically said SAA is known to be very erratic insofar as their records are concerned. She said she would rather have that issue more scrutinized further, more investigated. As matters stood, she stuck with her story.
Thank you so much, and thanks for giving us the setting for today. We will be bringing you the Commission live as usual when it starts. Thank you so much to Mzwayi there. Let's take a break.